Is that live?
Hey.
They do it? We fixed it. Sam didn't accidentally unplug the computer right before it went live. We figured it out.
It was human error.
Yeah. Dabbed.
Yeah.
Maude, thank you for joining us.
I can't believe I just dabbed.
It's fun, right?
No.
It's fun.
I was like, wait a second.
No, you almost said a truth, and then you threw it away.
No.
I'm pulling up...
What are you doing with those thumbs?
Yeah, he's
You're doing hover hand, but over your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, Patreon, because I asked you guys for questions about
yeah.
Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yes.
That we're going to be talking about.
If you can see us and everything's okay, let us know in the chat.
Give us a ding ding.
Well,
Say
we've got
ding,
David
ding.
Rodriguez saying, hey-o,
Hey-o.
and then Julie Layden being like, hey.
She's our Scottish friend. She's coming live from Scotland.
I know. David's like, more dabbing. I feel bad.
Yeah.
Like, not like I feel bad that I've done it. I feel rotten inside. Is like I've gone off. Is what I'm feeling.
You're just connecting with the teens.
Is this the
Elseworld?
That's hilarious.
Nice reference from DC.
Oh, is that what that is? Good. I've been watching The Magicians. I don't think I like it.
Yeah, you know what? I feel the same way. And
dropped
I have a buddy in it, and I've just been trying to get to him. Wow, I totally just blanked.
Dominic, right?
Dominic, yeah. He's got like the ram horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've been watching the first season. I'm just waiting for him to show up, and it's like, I don't dislike this show.
Is he
Dominic Burgess.
Is he a demigod?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm not there yet.
Okay,
that's the
good.
thing. He hasn't even shown up, and
Got
it's
it.
like, and I just
Yeah.
like I want to watch because he's in it, and it's not that I dislike it. I just don't. It's not clicking for me. I mean, the first season
was all right. No, you're right.
It's good.
Because
It's good. I'm just not, like,
I'm going to
hooked.
bring it back to the topic. It doesn't have what Harry Potter has, which is an established sort of like school community that you are voyeuristically going on a journey within.
Yeah, and it's
That
almost
one-
like if you try to make more Harry Potter movies and you didn't have that easy like in, maybe it wouldn't work as well, and you get distracted by other things. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Let's all celebrate one thing really quick. Julie Layden, sometimes a good dab is needed. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Julie, I thought we were good for a second. What happened?
Scotland's a weird place. You don't know. Like it's
Maybe that's how you blow your nose there.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's as if Sam drank polyjuice potion and became Maude for just to do a dab. Did you just sneeze on yourself? What'd you do? Is that me?
Yeah.
Like you
She
stretched
sneezed
yourself.
makeup into her arm.
Can you
There
see
it
that?
goes.
Oh, I'm just showing off my guns
Nice
now.
flex.
What? Did you bring guns to a Wanda show?
Julie, Scotland's a great place.
Guys, I brought it back to the topic twice now. That's a bit like, come on.
And I just went
Well,
ahead
and
and
we
ran
haven't-
it down in a ravine.
So now we're gonna start the episode proper. 3, 2.
Boop.
Hello, boop to you and boop to all
Boop
those
to all the good boys and girls at
during
home.
this holiday season. Welcome.
Consensual boops.
Consensual boops. That's
Get this.
I smell a t-shirt. Welcome to Only Stupid Answers, the best dang podcast you can put your moist
Oh, gross. I'm not okay with that.
little ears into. Maude, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Yay.
Miss Maude Garrett, how's
How many
your
times
day?
have you been on now?
Goodness, I feel like I sleep in the back room.
Yeah, like half the episodes. Just about.
Just about.
Yeah, just about half the episodes.
Just bow.
Just bow.
Just
yeah.
bow.
Just bow.
Just
I thought
bow.
you were saying just bow.
Yeah, just
I'm
bow.
like, oh,
Just bow.
Microphone.
Just bow, would you please?
You guys seen those deers in Japan that people can go feed in that park and they bow to you when you give them food? It's really
I haven't seen that, but it sounds amazing.
Because you give them a treat and they go,
Thank you.
and it's
It's
real
like, well,
cute.
then you're clearly the best deer.
Japan, did you say? The most polite country in the world,
Thank
and
you.
even the animals are bowing.
bow.
Are bowing.
Oh, that's the best.
It's pretty cool. But
So, Maude, for the people that haven't listened to half of our episodes,
Yeah.
Who are
Hi.
you?
Hi, I'm Maude Garrett. I used to work at SourceFed Nerd. Remember that thing?
oh, throwback. Interesting.
It's actually now been longer since it hasn't been around than I was even on the show at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I
Yeah.
feel like I was a bit of a blink and you'll miss it. But that's cool. So is SourceFed. How fun's YouTube? No, I do a show. I have a channel called Geek Bomb.
Nice.
And apparently there's a little thing called YouTube algorithms,
Yes.
which I refuse to play by the rules. And I got my 100,000 subscriber badge and have dipped under 100,000 again.
Nice.
So I like to think that I'm the only person that's done that. And that's an achievement in itself.
There you go.
So now I just need another button, and it's like a sad color,
Like, what's a sad color?
brown.
Brown.
Yeah.
Like it's a little rusty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a nice
Whoops.
rust
Like
color.
what
Yeah.
color really kind of depicts? Ooh.
Yeah. Makes you cringe when you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Let's ask any bronze medalist.
Yeah, there you go. That bronze.
Like,
There's
I'm
a good
kidding,
one.
I'm
It's,
kidding. I'm
Oh.
kidding. You're
Copper.
way
Copper.
more
Third-
successful than I am.
third place is basically first place when it's.
It is
except
when it's
not.
me.
Yeah.
And I'm also doing a show currently airing on Geek Bomb called Fungeons and Flagons, which is like Dungeons and Dragons, but a fifth of the time with no rules and hilarity ensues. And Sam, you're on that.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
Sam,
you.
you're on that.
I am. I did a fun plug. Someone's being a little salty
Oh,
over there.
I mean, how are you ever going to ever top your cameo from season 1 of
I think.
Sorcerer?
Wait, didn't I
Oh,
almost
yeah,
kill
that-
everybody?
Yeah, you
I
did.
I didn't almost kill everybody.
Yes.
Weren't you controlling a bridge?
Yeah.
You were
Yeah,
controlling a bridge.
that's pretty cool.
You had
It
to
was
give an
pretty cool.
item, or you
I
had
was
to
into
bugger
it.
off, or you had to fight.
I was into it. Wait, so Sam, I feel like I'm going on a limb here, but isn't Sam Witwer doing something to like help promote?
So Sam Witwer has written a D&D Art and Arcana book,
Yeah.
and that is a pal or a sponsor of the show.
Nice.
That's nuts.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
That makes me happy.
I asked him on, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, I want you on Fungeons. When are you free?" And he's like, "Probably in 2 years." And I was like, "Oh, good."
That sounds about
well,
right.
I'll book it now.
Yeah,
then.
'cause he's on-
All right. So Fungeons and Flagons season 4, Sam Witwer. Here it's confirmed.
There it is, and because he's doing Supergirl now, and
He's
he's
not even
voicing
living in LA.
Darth Maul every
Yes.
time that character shows up.
Yes.
So yeah,
He's a busy boy.
yeah.
His life seems pretty cool. Also, watch Super TV Showdown live.
No.
Twitch.tv/PlayNoggin 4 p.m. PST every
Whoa,
week.
what is this voice?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's,
I don't know what's happening.
It's any drama that comes on, like
Yeah.
Titans. Watch Titans on only DC Universe.
Yeah.
Every Friday. What?
You've
every
got
day?
a second career with that, I think. I think if you
Maybe.
keep
Just
working on
that
that.
voice?
What do you think, Maude?
Well, I mean, as someone that has only done voiceover work as a robot, yes, you can have a career just
See?
doing one thing.
Ryan Reynolds too.
But
Anytime
do
he
not
shows
knock
up.
my robot is actually really good.
That's a good robot.
I paid for your new car.
I had a bunch of people when I was coming up. They were like, "Oh man, you should do voice work," and I'm like, "I don't think you understand the amount of work that actually goes into that." I appreciate that you like the sound of my voice, but the people that do that are they're professionals.
Yeah.
So like
They
double
have
down.
booths in their house.
yeah, they have booths in their house. They go through training. They can do things that you can only dream of.
Speaking of dreams.
Yes.
Let's go into what we're into.
Yeah.
What are the things we into this week? It could be a movie, TV show. It could be an activity. Maude, we'll start with you. What are you?
Well, you know that with
what are
Geek
you
Bomb, I always
into?
do power, which is talking about what you're currently playing, watching, and reading. So my power for this week is playing. Oh boy, I've got Elder Scrolls Online again, the latest expansion on Xbox this time, even though I already have it on my Mac, and I've been playing this game for about 5 years now, but I'm back into it because who needs a life?
Yeah.
I'm also playing Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time rerun for the first time. Not for the first time, but with someone who's playing it for the first time. So this is amazing. And I'm playing Banjo and Kazooie for the first time.
Nice.
On what?
Nintendo 64.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going old school. Watching, I smashed out Making a Murderer in like 3-4 days.
Nice.
I didn't even know it came back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
second
Yeah.
season. Yeah.
Is it-
from
is
like 3 to 9 episodes are amazing.
Is it a new murderer?
No, but it's a second defense attorney who is basically undermining everything from the first case and is obliterating every piece of evidence that was convicting Stephen Avery.
Interesting. If
Oh.
you enjoy Making a Murderer, I highly recommend The Staircase.
That's another Netflix.
That's another
series.
Netflix.
Is that right?
Yeah, and it takes place over like 12 years or something like that. Like they've been following this guy for a long time. Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
So that's what you're watching. You went through Making a Murderer.
Yep.
Yeah, and 3 through 9 are good.
I watched 7 last night. I think I want people to die
Yeah.
in my
Wow.
life. That's what's happening. I'm watching death and how it happened.
Yikes.
Anyway, the whole time watching it, I forgot that Kevin Spacey has been completely obliterated from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh, from House of Cards.
He's not on this planet anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
No.
That's fine.
There was
You can
that
take a break.
movie that came out starring Taron Egerton and Ansel Elgort. That's what that kid's name is, right?
Yeah.
From Baby Driver.
Yeah.
They had a movie. It was like Billionaire Boys Club or something.
Cool.
Right.
And Kevin Spacey's in it, and so the studio was like, "And we're not promoting this at all." And it
Yeah.
was like that movie made, I
Oh.
think, $200.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's
Why
a-
didn't they do what?
All the money in the world or
that's
something like
it.
that. Yeah.
I think he played a pretty prominent role
Oh,
in that,
okay.
or he produced something like that.
Also, Ridley Scott has shit on lock. Like he's got his system down to how he does things. So it was
a Ridley Scott film.
All the money in the world.
It was.
Yeah.
Not Billionaire Boys Club,
all the money in the world. And from what I understand, Ridley Scott has a system. And so it wasn't too hard to. I mean, comparatively.
Plummer did the reshoots in 7 or 8 days.
Yeah. So Ridley Scott's an old pro. So I mean, anyway.
But what about reading?
Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Nice.
Are you working your way through it, or you just picked up that one?
I do a show on Nerdist called Alpha Book Club, and every second month we read a Harry Potter book because co-host Hector Navarro has only seen the movies and never read the books. And Hector Navarro is also on Dungeons and Dragons, so it's a little happy family in my life.
He came on this show. He talked about Incredibles 2.
Yeah, that's a good
I liked
episode.
that movie.
It was a fun one.
It's one of my, I think it's one of my favorites this year.
It was good.
Yeah. And it wasn't like, hey, the woman's can do good things. But it was, the dad being a stay-at-home dad. And I was like, yeah, damn it. I like it. Mum goes out and saves the day.
That's actually one of my favorite scenes of the year when he has his breakdown and he's not mad. He's just very honest with the kids. He's like, I'm formulating. Because he's like, I don't know how to handle this.
My life worked this way.
Yeah.
And now it's a different thing. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Because he's like, I'm trying to be a good husband and a good father and everything's melting. And it's like, I like this. Yeah. Literally everything's melting because of Jack.
Yeah.
It was a good one. But sorry, you're reading that?
Yes.
And where can they watch Alpha Book Club?
That's on the legendary service, Alpha, projectalpha.com. But go Geek Bomb, guys.
Good plug.
Can you please get me back to 100,000? I'm so embarrassed.
Can I ask how far away are you from that?
Like 172 subscribers.
Oh, so you're close. You're close. Yeah.
But
we have
peaked
at least
at
those amount of people listening. So go over and subscribe to Geek Bomb.
I peaked at 108,000, and then it just like you're trying to hold water. That's what happened.
And then you had some followers see that, and you're like, nah. That.
Lost
I'm out. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, YouTube just unsubscribed me. I didn't do that, but I'm looking at the button and it is being unclicked." And I was like, "That's devastating."
Same thing happened with Instagram a little while ago, and that one.
Oh my god!
Stung.
Yeah, my likes halved.
I know this is a super like inside baseball thing, but
look forward to it.
I was at like 80,000 followers, and it got dinged under. And I used to work with this service that could like get a couple ad deals every once in a while, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have 80,000 anymore," so they just like threw me away, and I was like. It was at 79,000. I'm like, are you serious? Like, and they're like, yeah. And so like, not a big deal, but I was like, that's dumb because it's just based on an algorithm, and they're like, yeah, we're not gonna.
Everyone follow Sam on Instagram.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind,
Sam Basher, get him to 80K.
Please, that would be very helpful, especially with the Christmas season coming up.
Right.
Someone needs to pay his rent.
Please.
I took a break from making YouTube videos, and so I got a message from YouTube. Oh, by the way, none of your old videos are monetized anymore. What? What is that? Yeah, you haven't done it in a while, so we're just going to demonetize everything.
That's
what?
like forced loyalty.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like this. I don't want to play the game, guys.
Internet's weird, but speaking of the internet being weird, you know what's not weird?
Our listeners.
Our listeners and the people that go to iTunes and
thank God I figured it out.
Yeah. Give us 5-star reviews.
You know what's not weird? My feet.
Yeah. Mine are super scary. I think another toast coming in. Go on.
We need to talk about that later. You should get that looked into. But yeah, you can go on iTunes and give us a 5-star review. And if you've done that before, you can actually go back if it's been a minute and go back and give us a 5-star review because that helps put us on people's radar. Help us get ad deals.
The more reviews you get, the more ratings you get, the higher up you end up in the charts.
Leave cryptic messages in it too.
Also, it would be fun to
random words and tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, well, play a game. But yeah, we love reading your 5-star reviews. I actually really like that a lot. Let's make a game out of it. And we got a couple here. And Maude, I think you requested to read one.
I was gonna read. I'll read the smaller one. Then.
Yeah, read whichever one you like.
All right, I'm gonna do it in my American accent.
Nice.
Sam and DJ, the Dream Team, 5 stars, by Titan.Elijah. I just got into podcasts, and Sam and DJ helped with that. They are the dream team! I don't even have to mention that I have a YouTube channel. Oh, I just did. I was sent from new rock stars, and I don't regret my addiction. 5 stars.
Yeah.
Nice.
We do have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/OnlySuperBrand. Yeah,
I try to close my eyes a little bit and like just picture who that person is.
Who is that?
I'm going to be honest. It bums me out that your American accent sounds better than when I talk.
Full stop.
Yeah, full stop. Yeah, it bums me out that your American sounds better than my American, but hey, whatever. I'm going to let it slide. It's whatever.
I'm just another Australian taking American jobs.
No.
We got them on tape, boys. Get them.
Yeah, but Titan there mentioned...
I'm trying to get my green card, guys. Stop.
You gotta blend in. We got a YouTube channel, youtube.com/OnlyStupidAnswers. You can catch a bunch of stuff there.
Yeah, so many
There's people in the chat there right now, like David and Maggie and Efrain. I know Efrain. thank you for all your funsions.
Wait.
He thought of the trident.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
No, there's you
Free
guys,
percentage.
you guys are super helpful by supporting our patrons in all of our shows. We appreciate it. We also have another review here from Mikala292.
Michaela?
Michaela, that makes more sense.
Yep.
Mikala292. Love filling my moist little ears with these boys.
Now, Sam, hold on.
Put that on a shirt.
Maude read that in her American accent. You should do this in your Australian accent.
Oh, well, there's...
Sam, I will throw my shoe at your face.
There
All right,
is,
go on, do
there's
it.
a,
Do it, go on.
let's just say oi. Let's get an oi from the chat. I'm going to be honest. My accents just kind of blend into one noise.
Yeah, it's
so,
like Russian
oi.
meets...
I've been a fan of
Brain
these
dead.
boys since the creation of SourceFed, nerd.
SourceFed.
And now it is West. It was a southern accent for a
Yeah.
second. I'm going to run through this real quick. And the moment this podcast started, I fell in love, and it became the part of my weekly routine. Listening to this podcast keeps a smile on my face, and as I get my daily nerd fill while I walk to class or drive. I think I'm skipping some words. I've struggled hard with anxiety and depression in this past year, and this podcast still never failed
that's
to
sweet.
put a smile on my face. Can't thank you enough.
I hope that put a
Appreciate
smile
it.
on your face, Michaela, right there.
That was actually his Australian accent the whole way through.
That
Yeah.
was. It was a bit of Perth, a bit of Melbourne.
Yeah, it's
Where is the Quicksilver, the dead one from again? Where's he
He's from Sargovia.
That's
He's,
it. I honestly think
It's
that's
Romania. That's where that accent comes from. Lot of guttural sounds. We appreciate that, but we've been going on so many tangents. The reason we're all here together is sit down. We want to talk to you guys about something.
I've had so
Wait,
much
we
serious.
need to do what we're finish off what we're into.
That's what I wanted to go
Okay,
into.
gotcha.
Because, clearly, I obviously remembered that we hadn't said anything yet. Let's talk
What,
about...
are you not into anything?
No.
Don't like anything?
We do talk about what we're into on our Twitch show. Little plug. But I did want to mention that I've been watching Haunting on Hill House. DJ's mentioned it. And
No, I won't watch it. No, not for me.
It's extremely well made. Mike Flanagan's a very good storyteller. And also, I think he really likes the way of having... he's done Oculus and a few other horror movies before.
Yeah.
But I think he really likes the idea of you tell the story of the kids and their parents being haunted, then flash forward to how those kids grew up and what they're like.
Yeah,
and
'cause that's
after,
Oculus, too,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's Oculus. He really likes that story, and I think Oculus has its problems, but I think this show's able to explore that to the best of... in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And I'm only 5 episodes in because I've been watching it with my girlfriend. She
Have
had
you been watching
surgery
it at night?
recently.
Are you watching it at night?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you do that? How
'Cause
bad is it? Do
you're
you think I
missing
would
out.
last?
You're-
You saw me during the village that one time. What is it called? The village? What was that
Oh,
one with the Shamanalanan? What's his?
Oh, The Visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had too much coffee. Whoa, it's hit me and I'm like sweating bullets.
I haven't gotten
Of coffee.
to the end yet. Do you think she could make it through if The Visit was too much? For
If
Mom?
the visit was too much,
Way too much.
I think you should try.
No,
I think
thank
you should try. It's a
You should
very good
try.
drama.
It is a very good drama.
What the best part about it is the way that each episode's structured. It's exploring how each kid was individually affected,
I don't like that.
and it's some people ended up better than others.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's safe to say the older the kid was, the better they fared.
Yeah.
Once you get to the younger kids, it didn't turn out so great.
I'm already sad.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna get more sad.
Yeah, it is.
Not if I don't watch it. In my safe bubble.
No, but I highly recommend it. It makes me super happy that you're watching it.
Also-
And I can't wait to hear what you think of the 6th episode.
I heard
Yeah.
that's your favorite. So that's our next one. And my girlfriend watched 2 episodes ahead of me, so now I gotta watch
Oh
it by
my god,
myself.
I'm sorry. That's the cardinal rule of being in a relationship. When you commit to a show, you can only watch it together.
I did.
No
I,
matter how
I
painful it is.
did watch some other shows before her. I
You
watched The
too.
Good Place.
Oh my god, yes, I will give you couples therapy. But
Thank
guys,
you.
can
It's
you
getting
just-
rough, I
yeah.
guess.
It's a slippery slope after that.
But
Okay.
the show that I watched that she had to catch up on was Good Place, and I just got to talk about that show. You are so I saw it. You made a face, and you're missing out on an amazing
I
TV
just don't
show.
understand how this show can actually work.
Oh, well,
It's about heaven.
no,
It's more
no.
complicated
Oh,
than that.
it is not. It
I
is
was
not
in the
about
same
that.
boat, and then I started watching it, and it's really
Because
good.
I'm gonna be honest, I thought he knew what season 1 was actually about,
Mm-hmm.
and then I accidentally, classic, I spoiled something, and then he finally watched it because
Yeah.
he was interested in what
Maybe
the plot
just
was.
spoil
Not
it for
here,
me.
but after the
Oh,
episode,
I-
spoiler
It's
for.
been 3 years.
No, Sam,
And
no.
I'm gonna.
No.
I'm gonna.
All
It's
right.
buckle up. The first
Stop
season.
it.
The first season.
No.
Oh, then I'll tell you what the pilot's about. It's about Eleanor, who's Kristen Bell. Her whole
Christian.
Christian
Yeah,
Bell.
Christian.
Christian Bale. No, the whole story is that
Good for you.
she died the same time and in the same city as someone with her same name, Eleanor Shellstrop. So they got
How
swapped.
many Eleanor Shellstrops are there?
Apparently
Two, and they were both in Phoenix, Arizona at the same time, and one is an amazing human being who ended up in the bad place, while the bad one, Kristen Bell, ended up in the good place. And so she's trying to figure out how to be a good person and not go to the bad place, because you figure out pretty quick that the bad place is really bad.
Yeah.
And it's not about heaven or hell, it's like pretty vague, but overall the bad place is hell. Like the bad place is real bad.
There is one other Maude, Garrett. She lives, I think, she grew up maybe in Tennessee or I think she lives in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm the bad one.
Well, actually, let's find
Let's
out
ask.
right now, because she's on set.
And
Maude
you're
Garrett, everybody.
And you're gonna kill her? You're gonna kill us both and see what happens?
Just see what happens.
We just want to sit down and have you guys review Fantastic Beasts. But DJ, that's what I'm
Hi,
into.
Maude.
The new episode of Good Place, by the way, has one of my favorite scenes with Janet, and I'm not going to say more because you're going to watch it later, and you
Yes.
should watch it. It's very good.
So I don't have I'm into, but I do have a story. I do have a story that happened to me last night.
Oh, yeah, you wanted to share something.
Yeah, I wanted to share a story just because it was an interesting experience. So
Buckle up.
we had our show yesterday. We had our Super TV Showdown live. And for those that don't know, like Wednesday through Friday are basically shot for me. They're basically marathons because of all the shows that we do and all the prep that goes into that. So the night before, my wife was like, "Hey, can you do laundry tomorrow?" And I was like, "I don't know. Do you need it? Whatever." Because it's just a really hectic time. So I got home after our shoot. My wife was at work, and I knew she was having a hard day. So I was like, you know what I can do? I can do the laundry.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting a little late, and of course it gets dark early now. And that specific in our building, that laundry room opens outside, and the fluorescent light is basically broken, so it's almost pitch dark in there. But I was like, you know what? I can do the laundry. I go down there just to double check. I think it was like 7:40. Just double check. There's a sign on the thing. It says the machine shuts off at 9. That's when the machine shuts off. It's 7:40.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
You got time.
Yeah, so I load it in there. I start the laundry. I go upstairs. I start watching this week's The Flash. I didn't watch it for our show, but I started watching it. By the way, really dug it. Ragdoll was great.
Okay.
So I'm watching that. It comes time. I set a timer. I go down to the laundry. Again, basically pitch black in there. And since I'm going to be sorting the stuff I'm throwing in the dryer and stuff I'm going to be hanging, I bring one of my bed lamp down with me so I can plug it on the wall so I can actually see what I'm doing. So I get down there, I plug it in, and I go to open the machines, and they are locked. And I they just won't open. And I realize, because they have the wall the machines are plugged in on, that circuit has a timer, and I guess they didn't change it for daylight savings, and so it shut off when it had water in it. So the machines are locked and off. And so I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like, our landlady does not give a shit. she posts notices on our door, and she collects a paycheck. That's what she does for the building. And so I don't know what else to do. But so I call her, and I don't even expect her to pick up, but she picks up, and I'm like, hey, the washing machines are locked. She's like, oh, you're gonna have to call the machine people. And I'm like,
This is your problem.
Yeah, it's like 8 at night. They're not. I'm clearly within the time limit. The machines are locked. And I try to explain to her, because what used to happen is the little circuit used to be open, and so you could just flip the timer back on, and the machines would kick back on. But now I guess they figured it out, and so it's got a bolt on it. It's got a bolt lock on it. And so I was like, listen, if you have a key for that thing, we can flip it back on and get it done. And she's like, well, which side are you on? I'll come meet you. So I wait for 15 minutes. Eventually, my wife has gotten home, and I get to explain to her what's going on. Landlady doesn't call me back. She hasn't shown up. And I'm just like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I like? I need to get in. I need to turn the power back on, because I'm just imagining my clothes sitting in this water overnight, and I'm just not having a good feeling about it. And then I realize my light is plugged in on the other wall, because that other wall's on a different timer. So there's power going to that wall to the dryers. So I run up to my apartment real quick. I grab a power strip, put the power strip in the wall that has power, unplug the washing machines, plug it into the power strip. They kick on. They only had 6 minutes left.
Yeah.
Let them finish the cycle. But now I have to beat because theoretically everything's off. Now at this point it's past 9, and the dryers are supposed to shut off at 10. So maybe that's fixed, right? And good news is dryers don't lock anyway. So I throw what I can into the dryer. I set that to go. I've successfully gotten my laundry out of the machine. By the way, never hear from the landlady ever again that night. She doesn't show up. She doesn't call me back. No show. So that's going. mission accomplished. But I think to myself, like, hey, just to be sure, I should go down early to make sure the dryer did its job. So I go in about 5 to 10 minutes before it's supposed to be done, and it is off. The timer's been off. And I open the thing, and they're like, moistish. like warm, moist and warm, right?
Yeah, like this show.
And I could call it. I could call it. You know what I mean? But I've gone too deep. I've gone too far, right?
You've hacked your way in.
But now all the outlets in that room are now shut off for the evening. But I know there's a plug on the first floor in the middle of the hall.
What the fuck are you doing?
So I bust out that extension cord we used to use.
Oh, like the one that's like 700 feet?
Yeah, I bust out our old extension cord, which was tangled as fuck. So I had to spend like 15 minutes untangling it. I run it into the building, down the hall, to the washing machine, or to the drying room, plug in the dryer. It had 25 minutes left. It barely did anything. And then I let that run through. I successfully got the laundry done. It only took me like an extra fucking hour to do it. But mission accomplished. That was my night last night. And I finished The Flash, and it was a lot of fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
If that is the most exciting or stressful night that you've had in a while, you have an amazing life.
Thanks.
Humble brag.
Jealous. Yeah. That is incredible.
No.
Well, I'm glad you're able to get your clothes. And I'm glad it worked out, and I'm glad you figured out a way to get around your crappy landlord, because when it comes to us, for like our apartment, if we have a gate that opens to get into the garage, because it's subterranean, and that made it sound cooler. It's a basement, and so if sometimes that'll just break, and your cars get locked in or out, and like he's like, oh well, they'll come in the morning, and it's 9 a.m. It's 9 a.m. He's like, yeah, they'll come in the morning. And it was like, wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he won't get back to you on what morning he's talking about. Eventually, you just got to Uber somewhere, and you can't bill him for that, even though legally I should be able to. Landlords suck. And on that note, let's talk about Fantastic Beasts, shall we?
Yeah, before we dive into Fantastic Beasts, do you real quick want to say hi to a friend of ours?
Let's say how do you do. That's for simple context. There you go.
Cool. You want to give me a clap sync back in?
All right, so Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald is the second installment for the Fantastic Beasts franchise. 2 out of 5, guys. This is the second movie out of 5, they say.
Why?
That's a lot of movies. But we did a full spoiler-free review on our Twitch show, and it's on our YouTube channel right now, so you can watch that. But really, we want to open this up to Maude. What did you think? You're a bit of a Potterhead, you'd say.
Big time into Harry Potter when it's Harry Potter.
You know, big Newt Scamander, never make eye contact, only whispers into the microphone kind of guy.
I have such a problem with how Eddie Redmayne is depicting Newt Scamander. I understand that he has social inadequacies. I totally get that he's fixated on one particular topic. I do not think that 5 movies should be led by someone who hates the spotlight and doesn't want to be there.
That's a really good point.
Hates the spotlight, doesn't really like interacting with people, really just uncharismatic and kind of unlikable. Not a great lead.
So my brother has Asperger's, which is how I know that he's playing someone that has Asperger's.
On the spectrum of some kind.
And I just didn't particularly appreciate it because it's not like that's exactly who Newt is. That is a choice that Eddie or the directors or whomever has made about this character. And I really think it impacts the movie. The nuances aside, he's a fucking Muppet.
What does that mean exactly? In terms of...
Do you remember in the 90s and the noughties British rom-coms and Hugh, what's his name?
Grant?
Tried to talk?
Ooh, yeah.
Muppet.
Oh, okay. Yes, that is how he talks.
Foggy. You know, it's that kind of thing, and you just kind of want to shake him and be like, just say it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Take a breath. Figure out what you want to say, and then say it.
Also, there's a lot of people that like, hey, Newt, you're a really good guy. We know you're going to do the right thing no matter what. And it's like, based on what? Based on what in any of these movies?
We don't know him at all. Just that he's got a tumultuous relationship with his brother.
Yeah, who was actually, I was way more interested in than I was.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy.
There's a big point where they like, somebody does something, attacks his brother, and he's like, that's the best moment of my life. It's like, your brother actually actually has your. What the fuck are you talking about?
And you didn't even do it. Someone else did it.
Yeah.
You weren't even capable of the best moment of your life.
No.
So can you explain
Super
to
sad.
me?
But sorry, before we get into that, we're in spoiler-free territory right now. Before we get into spoilers, I just want to know overall, what did you think of the movie?
It's just so I'm not sort of like I'm having a more clear sort of depiction on what I mean with having him as the lead. I'm watching a show called Atypical, and I absolutely love it. It is endearing. It is wonderful.
It's Netflix, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's really, really great. If they could have done something like that with Newt Scamander, I just think that when you have 5 movies based around him and he becomes this sort of like reluctant hero, there needs to be a driving factor. And for a series called Fantastic Beasts, there's not many there, and there's rarely any moments. And the few interactions that they have, you know, if it was like freaking, this is the first thing that came to my head, but the Luck Dragon, Falcor, and Sebastian. Is that his name? Sebastian?
The kid?
Yeah.
No.
I think so.
No. Wait.
This is you're
Ezra
saying
Miller?
stuff. Wait, no, what?
No, in the what's the movie? Falcor?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, Sebastian. Yeah. And
What's
Never Ending
the-
Story.
There we go.
That's it.
Oh,
Thank
I was
you.
freaking out. I couldn't figure it
Yeah.
out.
So if there was like a relationship like that where it's like you are able to command this incredible creature instead of pulling out, you know, the little kitten puppet that you can get for $39.95, that would be better for me.
Is there a rocket taking off right now?
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that
That's
is
more
cool.
exciting than the movie.
Yeah, it is definitely. As a whole, just to give a quick summary of like after I left, I was like, you know what? I had fun. It's really, we were talking about this, really pretty CGI. The creatures look cool when they are there. For the two new ones we meet, I think there's 2,
3.
3.
Baby
got the-
nifflers, but that's not new.
Yeah,
That's
and then you
just
got the
younger
cats
version.
with the big eyes.
The cats with the big eyes, big cat that can jump.
Yeah,
really
and then
far.
that was beautiful.
Kelpie.
Yep.
Kelpie.
Yeah.
And that weird one with the flat head that we never see again that has like moss growing out. It looks like a cup. Looks like a cup that
Oh,
came to
yeah,
life.
yeah.
He's at the circus. You see him for like a second. You think he's going to be important because they mention him later and then he never comes up.
Got it.
Sorry. Love that part. Love the creatures I do see because you actually get to explore them instead of like focusing on like 20 of them that you have to go find, and I don't know what they are. In this, they look really cool and whatever. And then I was like, oh, I'm so enamored by that, and I love Paris, so you're kind of winning me there. But then you try to think about the story, and you're like, you can't
You
follow
have no idea
anything.
what's going on. So
Yeah.
I went with someone that had never seen the first movie.
Ooh.
And the premise was, as soon as I'm lost, can you fill me in? 10 minutes in, I got the, psst, what's happening? And I went, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's too many characters. There's not enough payoff. They keep introducing characters before there's any resolution happening with any of the other ones.
No.
Will pop Nicholas Flamel just for the sake of it because he's a known name.
No, there were 3 people in our audience who went, oh. And everybody else was like, well, he hasn't introduced himself yet. Like, he's just doing scenes, and I'm like, wait, who is this?
dude?
Why is he in here? Why?
Yeah.
Like, I thought this was
What
a
is
safe
the
house.
purpose
Why
and
is
the
he?
point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes 0 sense.
A lot of this movie makes very little sense. You know, and I remember looking, because I went to a screening last night, and there's this huge ad, billboard of all of the characters and then what they're going through. So you have Credence, looking for identity, searching for his own identity. And then you've got-
Everybody is apparently who he is matters a great deal.
Yeah.
And then Zoe Kravitz's character is, trying to understand a prophecy. And I'm like, was she?
Yeah.
What? Honestly, you needed to take away 5 characters from this
At
movie.
least.
Yeah, no, so they had like, let's ballpark it, 12 subplots going at the same time, and
Yeah.
everyone had pairs or 3 people in like these groups, and they kind of mix match every once in a while, but everyone was kind of the same. And eventually at some point, Newt's doing his thing, and all of a sudden all the side characters are meeting somewhere else, and you run into like they're in the middle of their scene. It's when like they're all threatening each other in the like mausoleum, and you're like, how did they all get here? What's happening? And then you spend like 15 minutes just explaining everything.
Spending one of them,
One.
really.
One of the things, and even then, that's a whole misdirection.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
It's
and
the
the
whole
Zoe
story doesn't
Kravitz
actually
part?
mean anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, so?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a big car wreck of like it's either, I think I said this in our thing. There's plot points for future movies. There's plot points referencing past movies. Every character is there to introduce a plot point. And there's plot points within plot points.
Yeah.
And it's just it's
The plot thickens to the point where you can't even consume it.
Yeah, it's
Can't see what the heck's happening.
basically indecipherable.
Snape would make you throw that potion out.
I-
It's so thick.
I feel like I think I might have said something along this too. I
dabbed.
feel like if you tried to dramatize one of those books after J.R. Tolkien died, and it was just his notes.
Oh,
Even his son just took his notes, and somebody took that and was like, "Hey,
use it all.
Yeah, let's use all those things. Like, hey,
There's got to be something in
Nagini is
there.
a person, and she was friends with Cretans. Isn't that cool? I don't know. I don't know.
She didn't need to be in this movie.
At
No,
all.
she did nothing.
Okay, were there any parts that you enjoyed? I enjoyed the CGI. I thought it was pretty.
Yeah.
I liked the Kelpie would look like a horse when he came up for grains. Remember he ate the grains out of the bucket? What were those
Spoilers.
What were those eye things?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We just saw the eyes.
Yeah. Not,
Mon's still thinking.
just like,
They went to Hogwarts,
They did.
but then they put in spoiler. They had a character that technically wasn't born for a few decades after, but
Oops.
there she is teaching
Oops.
at Hogwarts, but she wasn't alive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've actually thought about this. It's not a positive, guys.
Okay. All right.
Buckle up.
Don't get your. No, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole movie, I was thinking, how did we get to here? Because a script would have had to have been written.
Yes.
It would have had to have been approved.
Yes.
It would have casting. Everyone got on board. Money was put behind it, and then it was made, and then edited, and then made public. How did we end up with this result? And then I found out that J.K. Rowling was the writer.
Soul writer.
Soul writer.
Yeah.
And she's an incredible author. But writing a novel, which can be 600 pages if you're writing her books,
No.
and writing a script, they're very different. In fact, the only thing they have in common is that they both use words. That is it. So to be concise and to have character development and to have a consistent and clear plot is really difficult. J.K. Rowling just became George Lucas. J.K. Rowling is surrounded by men and women that went, this is great.
This is going to pay off, right?
We're just wondering why you think Nagini should be a woman. Oh, it's flexible. It could be quite nice. I think it's nice to have that character. It's to draw it into the new books. They're like, okay, sounds good.
She doing anything in this movie?
Do it. Oh, actually, if you notice the development, you're seeing that Credence for the first time is developing friendships with another person. Sounds great, Chicky. That's what happened, the whole process.
If you were to rate this movie with a letter
I thought
grade,
it was going to get 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. I thought it was going to get 27.
Where's it sitting at?
50.
Oof.
But that's mainly audience excitement, I believe. We could look it up.
Yeah, let's take a look at that really quick. DJ, where are you sitting with your rating right now?
Oh man, so we did. What was our rating? So there's been 10 movies.
Yeah, out of 10.
So we actually did an out of 10.
That's pretty creative on our part. 42% all, but top critics are giving it 39%.
Yeah.
So that's dipping quick.
That's crazy to me too, because I thought the Harry Potter brand would be able to, it wouldn't matter, and it still might not matter. It still might make all the money in the world. But I think, what did I give it, like a 6 or a 7?
What?
Yeah,
like
we
a
gave it a
C-.
6 or a 7 because
I think like a C- because it looks good. It looks good, and the magic stuff was cool.
Also, I was 2 beers in, and when I was watching this, so that for
It was
me,
2 beers to the
I was
wind.
sloshed. So I was watching it, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, I was just kind of smiling, like,
Sure.
yeah, sure.
Why not?
Hey, we're in Paris. You gonna do anything with Eiffel Tower? Nah. You gonna do anything with any major monument? Nah.
No.
This is a soundstage in London.
Yeah.
But what did you think? I really have a bone to pick with the relationship between Queenie and Dan Fogel's character.
Hold on real quick. Give us your rating, and then we'll go into spoilers, and then we can dive into that.
Yeah, because we should.
Okay.
I think we got a lot of questions. Also, they have a lot of questions for us,
Yeah.
and we're gonna try to answer.
Guys, this was a very average movie.
Yeah.
This was, I'll give it
And
between
that's
a
generous,
4.5
too.
and 5.5. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, but now spoiler time. Even though we've already said some, who cares?
Boom.
We're getting
Spoiler
into
time.
it,
So Queenie, and I think the character's name is Jacob, who's actually
Yes,
of the
yes.
characters the one I liked the most.
He was the selling point for the first movie.
Agreed.
Those two, their relationship, their
Yeah.
chemistry, that dynamic. He and his comedic timing really made the movie.
Yeah.
Because you had a Muppet and then you had a mute basically be the lead of the show. If what's her name? Catherine? She was great to interview. Both of them are lovely, lovely
Oh, the
people.
actress's name?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what is her Tina?
Tina
Yeah.
the sister.
If Tina was a color, she'd be beige. And having those two in any scene, you needed this golden, glorious glow of Queenie,
Yeah.
and then the hysterics, the fun of Jacob's character. But in this movie, I was like, oh, we're here. This is going to be kind of cool. This is going to be fun. Oh, cool. Now none of it makes sense.
Yeah.
So you've got Queenie, spoilers, who's put Jacob under a spell. spell,
Yeah.
convinced that he would not be with her should he have a choice.
Yeah.
This is very much like Merope and Tom Riddle, if you do want to go back to the source material in A Half-Blood Prince, fresh on the mind. But she's a 10 and he's not.
Yeah.
And so to have that dynamic, I thought that was actually really quite lovely. And he's like, no, let me be with you. Let me be with you. And he goes to call her crazy because she could read minds. She hears it. And then all of a sudden, done, over.
Yeah.
I'm going to join a Nazi wannabe.
Well, no, hold on. She does have one conversation with him, and I just feel like maybe if you just have one conversation with Johnny Depp, you're going to start making negative decisions, you know? That's what I got out of the movie.
And they did establish pretty early, like really early on, he's like, oh, he's got a silver tongue. That's why we
his
cut
tongue,
it out.
they made a couple of references to tongue, so maybe that means something.
Not saying it makes a lot of sense.
What,
but
you went down on her?
Here's my question. Can you help me?
Grindelwald's time.
Can you
Gross.
can you explain to me why all the girls in the movie seem to want to fuck Newt for some reason? Like, what's like? Tina's
hair.
into him. His assistant's into him. Also, Zoe Kravitz is into him for
Even
some
though
reason.
she's with the brother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys were high school sweethearts. But no, she liked him the whole time but couldn't get him, so she settled for the second best thing. It doesn't make sense.
Well, but again,
And
how
Theseus
is wait,
is not
wait,
a bad
how
person.
is the brother the second best thing in this scenario?
Mm-hmm. Wait, you mean the guy, like, and also in the beginning of the movie, Theseus offers Newt a job.
Yes.
Offers him a job, and like, yeah, you can travel wherever
Goes
you want.
into bat for him.
Yeah,
For
and you
sure.
could do anything you want, and Newt just says no because why is Dumbledore hiring Newt to do this and not Theseus?
And Theseus
Yeah.
is in the ministry and could do 10 times the job.
Yeah,
Why
it
did they
just-
have to go back to Hogwarts? That even didn't make sense.
Why
No,
they-
no, I know,
No.
I know 100% why they had to go back to Hogwarts because of our audience's reaction when
Yeah.
Hogwarts showed up. The whole
Yeah.
audience was like, "Yeah!" And it was
Yeah.
like, "It's a school. Man,
So
calm down."
have it be based around Dumbledore and him doing classes and not Newt Scamander.
That's another reason we gave it a higher score is because Jude Law's great as Dumbledore.
Yeah, but
I'm
he's
sorry,
not.
please use his real name, Yumbledore.
Oh.
See?
Oh. Also, he's not playing Dumbledore. He's just Jude Law, but now he's got a wand, and or he didn't have one.
And
He-
a pocket watch.
There
Yeah.
it is. He had the pocket watch, and he learned one card trick, and that was with the business card that he gave Newt.
Yeah.
That was like, and look, real magic.
Yeah, that's another thing is I don't know why Dumbledore's so obsessed with the idea of like Newt's the guy for this. Wrong. No, he's not. He's really just
What
not.
the zoo,
to
the
save
pet
the-
handler?
Yeah, to save the day. I think it was one of those like, hey, we want to do more Harry Potter. We know we have all this Grindelwald shit, but we also want to connect it to some people. No, we have another book called Fantastic Beasts. We can make that work. And the spoiler alert, you can't. It's
No.
and I kind of wonder since it is 5 movies. We even have a question from the Discord. Jake Elton 25 said, after seeing this one, how are you feeling about Fantastic Beasts being a 5-film franchise? I actually like the elements where it's just like basically magical creature Ghostbusters. You could have 2 or 3 movies where you're just having fun finding magical beasts, and in the background you're building the Grindelwald stuff, kind of what they did with Harry Potter. Voldemort's in the background,
Yeah.
and then
The
by
first 3.
like basically in
Yeah.
movie 4, it's like, okay, this is the thing we're dealing with now.
Yeah. I could see that, and
Yeah.
and also there it is like it does toe the line where it's like there's some Voldemort stuff going on, but also you're still getting to school.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff
Yeah.
you're most interested in.
Yeah.
This movie can't find that balance. Also, it's becoming more of a war movie more than anything else, and you're like, and also I don't know. It's all over the goddamn place, and there's so many. What was the brother trying to do? He was like hexed to go kill Credence or whatever. Zoe Kravitz's real.
No, not brother.
Half brother.
No, because listen,
Wait,
Sam,
you gotta explain it.
Listen, Sam. She wasn't trying to hurt the baby. She just thought, hey, this ship's sinking. This is a good time to switch babies.
Not him.
Yeah.
Not Corvus. The
Oh,
brother
the
who
other
was the
real
other brother.
I don't fucking know, man.
That was his brother.
Yeah, that was
Her
her
brother.
brother from a different. Her brother from another mother.
And then they spend their entire
No,
adult
same mother,
lives
different father.
not knowing each other at all. And then it's like, oh, wow, you're not dead. I thought you were dead this whole time. Oh, by the way, the thing that you're trying to do to prevent the curse, I already took care of it. And you're
Yeah.
like, so what was the point of any of that?
Yeah.
None.
Nothing.
It's so Lestrange is in the books, right? The
Yeah,
name Lestrange.
Lestrange.
Should that matter to me?
Lestrange is in the Black family. I've
And that's-
got you covered
Wait,
with
but
this.
that's Beatrix's last name, right?
Bellatrix Lestrange
Bellatrix.
married a Lestrange. Bellatrix and Narcissa are sisters. And Narcissa married Draco.
Okay.
Draco, not married Draco. Lucius Malfoy. They had Draco was their son.
Oh.
So Bellatrix and Narcissa, sisters. Bellatrix is a Lestrange. Lestrange in the books they use a French accent.
Ah.
In this movie, they're trying to say that the king, the head of Lestrange, who was trying to, I think, make a pure blood family,
Sure.
would impregnate sort of different women, hence the same father and the same bloodline and the same last name, but a bunch of different mothers, hence Credence being, oh wait, Credence has nothing to do with it again.
No, he doesn't. He sure doesn't.
That was really stupid.
He sure does not at all. And also the reveal at the end, like the reveal at the end. Fuck you. Fuck that. It's so stupid.
Let's talk about it. And I thought, what would have been crazy, which would have made equal amount of sense, is it was like, yes, your real name is Albus Dumbledore, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
That makes zero sense. But and it's like, wait,
But
who's
nothing
Jude,
else did,
Who's
so-
Jude Law? What does that mean? And it's like, wait, he has to age that much in this many years?
The problem was that the backstory and the history of Albus Dumbledore in the books for Harry Potter really does explain in detail about Albus and his younger brother growing up with the sister. He was
hold
there
on.
from day one.
So wait. So is Credence in the books?
No.
No. The brother shows up in the last movie.
Regulus?
That's what his name, and it's the guy who plays Mance Rayder in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Which that was on.
Yeah.
My nephews were watching it recently, and they were scared. And so, and
Game
he
of
shows
Thrones?
up. What?
Yeah,
No.
no.
I was gonna say your
The last
nephews are watching
episode.
Game of Thrones.
No, but he popped up, and I was
Gotcha,
like,
gotcha.
oh, cool. So I
Gotcha,
recognize that
gotcha.
actor.
But in the books, Albus, I think it may have even done like a big article, or though he stumbled across a book. I can't remember because it's my next one that I'm reading. But it goes into history about Albus being a child and what happened with his sister and his brother. But his brother was there from day one.
Yeah.
And they went to high school together.
So is this a different brother?
Yeah. Right?
No, it's supposed to be his younger brother, but it's just got a whole new backstory now.
That's
And now that we're in spoiler territory, McGonagall.
Yeah,
McGonagall was
yeah.
born in the 40s, but she's teaching at the school in the 20s.
Yeah.
and
what?
she's like a full adult. Like she's
Yeah.
an older adult.
Wait, hold on. So the name at the end, I just cued it on
Unless you
Dumbledore. They call him Regulus Dumbledore.
Yeah, but this is my favorite part. It's like, oh, you want a 2-movie build-up about who Credence is? Cool, get Johnny Depp to barely audibly whisper it.
Yeah.
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 I needed subtitles in that moment. It's like, your name is
Can I?
Dumbledore.
One thing I
You're
did
like,
like
"Oh,
about
good."
it is I actually liked the explanation for Grindelwald's pitch. Like, hey, listen, if magic users don't take over the world, World War II is going to happen. I'm like, you know what? That's actually a pretty solid argument. It's for a bad guy. If you're trying to see why people would join a bad guy, that's actually a pretty decent.
But it all comes down to every villain's mantra, the greater good.
Yeah.
The greater good.
No.
Great movie.
Also, I think it was real important that every time he did he sucked on that magic hookah, we definitely couldn't see that. It would conspicuously cut away, even though a dead baby floating through the water was fine.
Every kid sees one of those.
Yeah,
It's
we definitely
fine.
got child murder in this movie several times.
2 babies dead.
Yeah.
2 babies died.
What was
No.
the? Oh,
Yeah.
the one
Yeah.
he specifically killed.
Yeah.
No,
Or-
he sent in this woman, this faceless, nameless woman who we didn't really see again, but she killed a baby.
And
Yeah, she-
faceless, nameless, voiceless guy who was his body double, which I did like the breakout scene when they're flying over New York. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool with the horses or horsies that
Yeah.
were pulling the
Oh, yeah,
carriage
yeah.
and were flying
Yeah, that was
around.
fun.
And the guys on the witches
So
brooms.
hold on, the guy who was doubled, he just kind of was like a henchman after that, right?
Yeah,
So
he
kind of
didn't. He
pointless?
didn't speak,
No.
even though he had a new snake tongue.
Yeah, cool, great,
Yeah.
good. I had another thing that didn't make sense, but then say is one thing. Oh yeah, who is this movie for?
Well, let's answer
There's-
that question after we say hey to a friend of ours.
Good call. Good reference. David Rodriguez said he's the boneless Freddie Highmore. I don't know who you're talking about, but I love it.
Freddie Highmore is the guy from The Good Doctor.
The Good Doctor, Charlie Chocolate Factory,
Mm-hmm.
August Rush when he bangs on the drum or the guitar, the gore tar. and
Bates
he's a-
Motel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gross. All right.
Who is this movie for? I think that's a good question, Maude. I think it was a question I had after the first one because it's like
There's baby killers.
Yeah, it's like beyond just that, beyond tone, the idea that like it's kind of supposed to be a Harry Potter prequel. While it's also kind of be its own franchise. Well, it's kind of trying to be 2 different franchises at once. On top of that, but then you're right, tonally. Like, I mean, kids like scary stuff. Kids like to be scared for the most part.
Nah,
Is
man.
it? I mean,
you
is
don't
it-
like to be scared. You like to kids like to like toe the line where it's like it feels like a little scary.
Yeah, like it
It's
might be
spooky.
Yeah.
Not scary.
Yeah, you can like where like parents dying in a Disney movie. It's like they don't like that, but like it feels like, oh, this is serious. So
Yeah.
we can kind of deal with this a little bit.
Child murder's a little different.
Also, you're not seeing the parents die. You're not seeing the dead body of the parents floating down in the ocean.
The toddler
Mm-hmm.
was a shot where it was above him and he was looking up and he wasn't making a noise. He wasn't even crying. It was innocent. It was pure.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And they killed it.
Yeah.
Like,
And I don't know if you needed to emphasize. I think we got. I mean, Johnny Depp has a weird eye in that movie, so
That's
I think
all
you
you
got
need.
that he was the bad guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think we all got the message.
Yeah, there didn't need to be a baby in that house. It
No.
didn't
Yeah.
change anything.
No.
What you picked a random house. Like this is stupid. We'll talk. We should just talk about this like now, just to because I don't want to wait to the very end of the episode. But Johnny Depp, everything about him currently really put a big cloud over this movie, and now the movie had so many problems. It's just like it was this like weird goddamn. It was like this
You
weird
know that Johnny
train
Depp
wreck.
signed on to these movies without even reading the script. He just wanted to be a part of
He just wanted
the
to keep doing
franchise.
that British accent.
I get it. I mean, that's probably what most of the actors did.
Yeah.
They're like, oh wait,
Oh,
these.
no one read the script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, just take it, the money, think of the money.
Someone tweeted at us after we put a review out. They're like, guys, it's obviously a bridge movie. We do this with books all the time. It's like, one, you don't do this with books.
Yeah.
Books actually have stories, and you know they're going somewhere, but there's still a story, and everyone knows how movies work. Like
The
they're
Chamber of Secrets would probably be the closest bridge movie. Still had a basilisk,
Yeah.
which is more fantastic than any beast.
it was so cool.
I did like the Chinese lion dragon
But
thing.
when
I
did they?
like
The
it.
one thing that it could do was travel 10,000 miles in like a night.
No.
Yeah.
Did
It did it.
But-
It did it.
but
It did
it
it.
looked cool.
It did it in like that portal
looked
thing where
cool.
the cats were being all dragged around. It didn't make a lot of sense, but I was like, I don't know. And also evil guard cats, which that scene made zero goddamn sense. Evil lady lets them into the vault, lets the other person in, and then like traps them and like sends her kittens after them.
Yeah, this definitely needed. I say if these keep making money or whatever, let J.K. Rowling do her 500-page script, and then hire a screenwriter to go through and like adapt it, streamline it.
Get Alfonso Cuarón to do another
And
one.
also, I was kind of hoping. I'm going to be honest with you. I was kind of hoping when they were like, "Don't go to the meeting because death is going to be there." I was like, "Could we kill off Newt? Because that'd be great." I'd be way into like because one instant stakes, and also you get rid of your lead that's just kind of dragging the movie down.
I don't know if I wanted him to die, but I would like him to be better.
I kind of wanted him to. I mean, this weird love story between him and Tina.
Yeah.
Tina's like making up some guy, apparently. He's
Her
not able
boyfriend from
to...
Canada.
George Glass.
Yeah.
Brady Bunch reference.
Yeah.
But him trying to compliment her, but not even realizing that Zoe Kravitz is in love with him at the same time. Oh my God. Just
So
something.
dumb.
Yeah.
And like the
Just
whole.
And which, by the
Resolve.
way, does Zoe Kravitz not realize she's Zoe Kravitz?
Yeah.
You could do better. You're fine.
Even Theseus,
She's
like he's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, you
and
could-
Theseus is a good-looking guy. You're
And I
not.
kind of wish that they
you're not
actually had
losing.
really good dynamic, and it
Yeah.
was this thing that it was this unfinished or resolved thing that's just hanging over it. Maybe she does see him as a brother, and she just cares for him, but haven't made sense.
Yeah.
For the love of God.
No, a lot of the movie made zero sense. But like the scene I was mentioning before, where it's like Newt and somebody is running. I think it's Theseus who are running around.
Yeah.
No, because he's bound. I don't know. At one point, Newt's running around with someone. They end up at the mausoleum where the main like Grindelwald meeting is.
Tina.
And it was Tina.
Yeah,
Okay.
you didn't know that because she's beige.
Yeah, I couldn't.
And
it was-
faded into the wall.
It was blank in my brain. But they show up and like the real brothers holding a wand to Credence and Nagini, and then Zoe Kravitz's character shows up, and then they have their 20-minute explainer of all the super complicated backstory, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden. Jacob shows up. Even the last time we saw him, he met random old guy who
No.
meant nothing to
We
me.
saw random old
But
guy.
no.
Then he shows up at the mausoleum. Then somebody puts a wand to his head, and then he vanishes.
Yeah.
And then he's still just there.
Yeah.
We don't know what he's been doing in that mausoleum the whole time.
No, it makes zero because he's escorted by himself.
Yeah.
He's and like. And Queenie, I know you're probably enchanted or something, but like he just said, I don't hate people, but they are gonna die. And like she's like, yeah, but not my guy. He's
Yeah.
gonna make it through this. Everyone's an idiot. Like everyone's so stupid. And everyone's like, no, Grindelwald's gonna save everybody. And he's like, you know what? I hate Paris. And he's gonna nuke Paris, all of it, with dragons, like fire dragons, which look cool. Now, I don't know if those are beasts. They look cool.
But why?
Why?
What's
Why?
the point?
At all. It doesn't make any sense.
All right, so we've got a question here.
Also, it doesn't matter where these movies take place. It doesn't matter at all. Like, don't think you're going to get something cool with, like, 1920s New York. You're going to get flappers? No, you're not going to get anything.
No.
You're not going to get speakeasies. Nothing. You get one circus. It's
Yeah.
so dumb.
And they weren't Fantastic Beasts.
No.
They were.
And see, that's another thing why I think that they've kind of like blocked themselves in. So every one of these movies is going to be labeled Fantastic Beasts, even though it's 100% dealing with Grindelwald and his stuff.
With Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kayla Marie 033.
Why didn't they call it Dumbledore?
Ooh,
The Dawn of Dumbledore.
There you go.
You guys were talking about the
JK,
cluttered
call
plot
me.
and the non-spoiler review, so I was wondering how you'd adjust it to make a better movie. What's a suggestion you guys could give that would kind of like help this out a little bit?
Not be 5 movies, separate the franchise, put Fantastic Beasts to bed, and focus on Dumbledore.
I think get rid of like the Fantastic Beasts element because I'm going to expect really cool creatures, and if you got rid of that and that happened by accident throughout the movie, cool.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. I'm now like it's so weird that is the title of this. Harry Potter is about Harry Potter and his journey through this. Don't put Newt Scamander's name in the title because I'm definitely not going to come at that point. Different actors, different story. I don't know. Don't let J.K. write by herself. It's like she came out of a room after 6 months and has like this enormous script, and it's like, what's this? And it's like 1 movie. No. You mean like 3, 5? Is this 5? No,
Yeah.
1.
We also have a really fun question from Proby too. The question is, what lesson would you guys teach? I'm interpreting this as I really like the scene, and I don't know if this was a spoiler or not. We kind of shut it down.
Yeah,
is Dumbledore teaching Defense Against Dark
Dark
Arts? Love
right.
it. I thought that was great. So if you were teaching a class, we're assuming we're witches and wizards. What class would you teach at Hogwarts?
100% not herbology or potions.
Those are the
Anything
only.
that's
Another
finicky.
quick question: have they established an Australian school for witches?
No, and they have put the closest I think is in Brazil.
Oh, they do have a Brazil.
Do we know there isn't an Australian one, or we just don't know yet?
I don't know.
Where's magic?
Well, it has to be because we're from the English.
So would you go to Hogwarts? See, we wouldn't go to Hogwarts.
No, you'd go to Ilvermorny.
Sure.
Remember,
But
all
would
that,
you go to Hogwarts?
I mean, I live in America, so I guess I'd go.
You go to Ilvermorny, but were you when you were in the school age?
See, I don't
Oh,
know
you're
if
a
I'm
teacher
getting.
now. You're a teacher now. All right.
We don't really have fireplaces either because it doesn't get incredibly cold. So
Now
where's
I'm-
my letter going to come
Now
through?
my crimes of Grindelwald. I'm just making this way too complicated. Anyway, what would you teach?
a kangaroo brings it to you. American knowing
You've never
Australian
been to
things.
Australia, have you?
No.
No. It's a platypus.
I'd probably teach Defense Against the Dark Arts if I'm going to be real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What about you?
because it's more practical over theory.
You named all 3 of the classes that I knew. I don't know any other classes.
Transfigurations, charms. Charms is just simple spell work, like, Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah, I'm not
It's not Leviosa.
You know what?
Leviosa.
This might not be cool in normal schools because this is always the butt
Got
of the
that
joke.
backwards.
It's always the butt of the joke in most school movies that the gym teacher's not cool. But if I'm coaching the Quidditch team, I think I'd have a good time. But my team would always be like, we get like the people who didn't get picked. But
No,
you got a lot of heart.
A student is the captain of the Quidditch team.
Well, you gotta have it. There's no adult there.
Well, Madam Hooch.
Ah,
You're right. She teaches flying.
There you go.
You know what I would be, because
I got cool tricks. It's like, kids, and I do. It's like the
you'd
adult
be a
use.
good flying teacher. I could
Sam-
see you as a flying teacher.
There you
Sam
go.
Basher,
Mm.
you have just enlightened me with a flaw in the books and the movies that I've never come across again. I know all the classes. I know what they're taking: arithmancy, rune study, ancient runes,
Duh.
history of magic, history of In their first year, they take flying classes with Madam Hooch.
Mhm.
That is a legitimate class.
Mhm.
The PE or the gym class
Yeah.
of Hogwarts. They never take that class again.
Also,
It is one and done.
Yeah.
also they never
Oh my.
take
Mhm.
normal just math and geography. I feel like it should still be part of the program, is all I'm saying. See, so Maude took my answer and I think it's probably because it's the cool answer, is Defense Against Dark Arts. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to be Hagrid. I'm going to be the groundskeeper.
Nice.
I'm already halfway there size-wise. You know what I mean? I got the beard and everything. Also, I think this could connect to what would make the movies better. Forget being a teacher. I want to be an Auror. That seems cool.
What
One
is
of
that?
the magic cops. Which, by
that
the
what
way,
that is? Oh.
maybe if you structured Aurors like you structure the school, like there's different types of Aurors. Maybe that'd be a
Think
good
of the Aurors
in.
as the Jedi. Dun, 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 dun.
But if you made it, if you structure it like the school, like there's different, not houses, but different like ways of being an Auror, maybe you could start getting your audience. You're connecting it to stuff they already know with how the school works, and now you're connecting it to cool magic cops. You know what I mean?
But then you're placing such an emphasis on authority.
But it'd be more exciting than Newt and his stupid
Oh,
creatures.
100%. Oh my gosh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
but then you can have like the rogue cop. That's what you always want. You want like the rogue
Yes.
wizard, and that's the person who's doing all of this. That's the person. Or you have them investigating specifically magical creatures that are used in crimes, and that's how you get Fantastic Beasts. There you go. That could
imagine. What I was going to say. Imagine if Newt had a cop buddy, and he does. It's the beige girl, and that could be so much cooler.
This is the thing. You need a yin and yang. So if Newt Scamander is going to be very shy and very muppety, then you need someone who's going to amplify him big time and
Somebody
make
brassy
the calls.
and
You
like,
know,
yeah.
hey, I don't have the information, but I've got the gusto. You know.
I have one question from our Patreon that I thought was pretty fun as well. Emil Killed. Is there any place / country / time period you guys would like to see the Harry Potter movies travel to / explore in the future? I know it would be a little weird to call them Harry Potter movies at this point, but I would love to see the Wizarding World of places like India, Japan, or Thailand. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
So they did a short story, a little video, animated video about Ilvermorny when that kind of surfaced, and it was about, I think the founder of Ilvermorny was a descendant of Salazar Slytherin in a way.
Oh.
And instead of doing the I will only teach magic children, she used this, like the purpose of teaching. I could be very wrong, but from what I remember,
I'll believe it.
Yeah.
it was, she developed the school in America. But what I love about it is that it's in the Salem area of America. So this whole witches. I kind of love that era where it's like they actually are witches.
Yeah.
And I remember one part where it's like, oh yeah, back in the day when there were witches in the Salem era and they would burn at the stake, they would just do a simple little spell and pretend to shriek and burn, and it would just feel like their feet were tickling.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if they did like medieval Germany, because you have like Baba Yaga and you have like all these like classic like witches that are from fairy tales, and it's like, what if you had like
Baba Yaga?
Baba Yaga, it's just like she like lives in a house that kind of runs around and she like steals children and stuff.
Yeah, and it's kind of also like the witch in Hansel and Gretel, the witch in all those stories. That's
kind of Baba Yaga, and it's also that's just a way you can just say witch, I think. But like for the most part, I mean, what I would like
Baba
is
Yaga is also the name of John Wick in the John Wick films.
Really?
That's his nickname. That's his like.
Weird.
You don't remember?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen the first one. Like, Baba Yaga.
I never got that. I never got that. I thought they were trying to say boogeyman, but they couldn't
Yeah,
quite
it
get
is.
it out
Yeah,
right.
it's supposed to be Boogeyman, but it's
But I would like a medieval Germany, like a Germanic tale, because you have so many fairy tales, and it's
Is
like
that because you want to be in the movie and that's the only accent that you can kind of do?
yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, give me a little time. I can figure it out. I can learn Germany. Fuck.
I'm going to adjust my spell.
But imagine like there's so many like grim fairy tales, but with like a slap of like Harry Potter. So it's like these aren't actually bad. This is how the humans at a time when witches and wizards and humans were all like fighting. This is how they kind of radicalized humans to be against witches and wizards. And I'm like, that's cool.
So fairy tales are propaganda.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. So it's like, yeah, they're going to eat your kids. It's like, no, we're not. No. That happened one time.
I'm a little hungry.
Yeah.
and it's your fault that your kid's so delicious.
Yeah.
I like the idea of doing, because a lot of fantasy stories in the West deal with Western mythology, but there's a lot of great stuff in the East, in Japan and China and stuff like that. So it'd be cool if they went to someplace like Japan. And I feel weird saying this, but also if we're going to stick with the Australian stuff or the Fantastic Beast stuff, it'd be cool to do Australia, because there's
the
like
indigenous history. Do you hear about the one about Tiddalik?
I'm just talking about the animals. Like there's so many already.
Tiddalik
weird.
is a giant toad that was selfish and drank all the water in the lake, and then everyone was starving. Like all the animals were just like, we've got no water, and it's and
That
so
son of a
someone
bitch.
realized if you tickled it, it started laughing, and all the water came back.
See, so you've got that, and also
And we have bunyips.
if mystical animals are as unique in Australia as the real animals are, that's crazy.
What's a bunyip? I gotta know.
Look it up. Look up a bunyip.
Bunyip. Is it like a jackalope?
And bandicoots, I think, weren't real, or they were, but
Oops. I'm just gonna.
No,
write it
bandicoots
for-
are real.
what? Bunyip. There it is.
Oh, look at this little freak. Look
Hey, that's my myth creature.
Look.
Yeah, it's a
There
bunyip.
he is.
Yeah, he's hitchhiking.
There he is. He looks like a shaved camel that's walking on 2 feet with a long tail. Yeah, no, I would like fairy tales being explored, because like what did witches and wizards actually think of fairy tales? Like, because they've also established a lot of those creatures are real and some are scary. Like, or I guess unicorn blood you can drink and it makes you live
Also,
forever.
I just gotta say, I hate the whole like, oh, I'm tired of sharing the world with humans. It's boring. It's boring, and it makes me, and it starts making me ask questions that the Harry Potter world never needed me to ask about, like what is humanity? Like magic's just off doing its own thing, and I don't need to think about a conflict between the two, because why? Why would there be?
This is really cute, actually. Okay, so hold on. A bunyip is They're said to lurk in billabongs, if that gives you an idea. Bunyips in billabongs. But people also searched for Yeti, Manticore, Hippogriff, and Gorgon. There's our slate
Yeah.
for the Fantastic Beasts.
See?
And I know everything about all of these, and I love it.
Just one Manticore.
Gorgon is
Come on.
Medusa, so if she looks you in the eyes, you're stoned.
Boom.
Boom.
Hippogriff we know because it's in Harry Potter. A Manticore has the body of a lion, the wings, and a snake tail.
Oh.
And this
What's-
particular
like a-
iteration, it's wings of a bat.
And it's a face of a man though, the Manticore,
Great.
but it has like shark teeth. I've seen in one
think
direction.
it's-
A chimera has the goat, lion.
Snake.
Chimera.
Snake.
That's
Yeah, chimera.
in one of the few episodes I've seen of Full Metal Alchemist. There's a chimera, and it is depressing as fuck.
Oh really?
cool.
It is one of the most depressing things I've ever seen.
And guess what? This movie's depressing for fans
Yeah.
and non-fans
Do you,
of Harry Potter.
real quick, do you think this movie will do well, and do you think we'll actually get the 5 movies?
We are definitely getting a third because they're already shooting it, unless they just cut it.
What?
Well, the Flash movie got pushed because Ezra's already shooting the third.
Ezra Miller.
Yeah,
He has a problem
yeah, and
of staying sober.
oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know, but it's
He was very high in my interview. He came in and he had red painted hands. Like his hands were stained red. And I was like, what's going on there, buddy? Why are your hands red? And he's like, have you seen Macbeth? And I was like, yes, just the spot, it won't come out. He goes, yeah, you get it, Lady Macbeth. Yeah. I was doing that. I had bright red lipstick on in my interviews, as I usually do. And he's like, you know what you should do? You should just smear your lipstick all over your face. Do it now. Just do it. Just smear. You would look better, honestly, if you just smeared it. And I was like, oh, mate, thank you. That's what a Slytherin would say. And he's like, how did you know? I'm like, I have eyes and ears. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll entertain this guy for a second. And I was like, well, when did you make your first kill? And I'll give him credit. He had a good answer. He's like, they called me Ezra Miller the Fly Killer. I was 2 years old and killed it. And I was like, all right, cool. Now back to the movie.
yeah.
And he went on tangents. And every journalist who came out of that room, he was teamed up with Claudia Kim. You think she said one thing? No. She sat there just like, what the hell is happening? And all the camera guys were like, good luck. And every journalist came out like looking like they were going to cry, being like, I don't think I can use any of that. Yeah. I'm going to put mine up on Geek Bum.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to see it.
Yep.
I'm
Well,
excited to
there's
see
a
it.
nice plug. Go subscribe to Geekbong. Dang it, so Geekbong.
Because my Australian outlet did not use an iota of that interview.
Ooh.
Yeah, they just used the Yumbledore flirting with me.
Yumbledore. Hashtag Yumbledore.
He's a good dude.
Jude Law?
Yeah,
Yeah, very charismatic.
Yeah.
that makes me happy.
But went on tangents, and there were 3 of them, and I'm like, I have 4 minutes with you.
Yeah.
Back to them. I regulated him a little bit. I regulused him.
Subscribe to Geekbomb because we're going to get them to 100,000 subscribers. God dang
Yes,
it.
please.
And then while you're at it,
Thank you.
subscribe to Only Stupid Answers so maybe we can get 100,000 subscribers.
Please, we can do it. Let's do it before Christmas. We can do it. I believe in you guys. Maude, one last time, where can they find everything that you do?
At Maude Garrett on all social medias, and then everything pretty much /Geekbomb. But definitely YouTube, because we got a next episode of Fungeons and Flagons coming out tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Nice.
Tonight, if you're on Patreon. Shoot.
We got to schedule that. That's always a fun feeling where
Let
it's
me
like,
just-
that snuck up on me.
What about you, Sam? Where can they find you?
You can go ahead and go to google.com/ don't put anything after that, then type in Sam, S-A-M, space B-A-S-H-O-R. Usually
Wait,
the first
this
few
is
do
not
some...
Google.com/Sam with a
No,
space.
/, stop. Because that's how it usually types it. And then you type in S-A-M, B-A-S-H-O-R. First couple things pop up. You'll figure it out. They're good. Unless it goes to the weird website with the addresses, and then you'll find a couple of them that are 80 years old. That's not me. That's not me.
But
FYI.
send something there anyway.
That's not him.
If you want to send him fan mail, go for it.
I'm at DJ Talks Trash every place that matters. Thank you guys for listening. Please watch our live shows Wednesday and Thursday at twitch.tv/PlayNoggin. Please subscribe to patreon.com/OnlyStupidAnswers, where you can watch episodes like this live.
Boom.
And you can get a ton of bonus content, and that's what helps make this show happen. And thank you for joining us, and let us know on the Twitters what you thought of Fantastic Beasts.
Are we right? Are we wrong? No, we're right. But we can still talk about it on Twitter.
But if you want to be wrong, we're more than happy to humor you.
Also,
wrong.
God dang it, I didn't say this earlier.
Very last thing.
We're doing something with Black Friday on a bunch of our websites. Dang it.
Wait.
When is Black Friday?
We'll do it in the beginning.
Wait. Hold on. You want me to? I can
Don't
put it in
don't
with
edit
our.
it. Leave all this here. Leave
Okay.
all of it.
No, but I can put it in. I can put it in with our.
We shall.
With our 5-star
What are
thing.
you doing though? Tell me.
It's a surprise.
What? I can't know.
Not
Thought we
now.
were friends.
Not now.
Yeah.
The thing.
Maude,
don't know.
Yeah, well, you'll know when we know.
Oh.
You'll know when you, but you'll know too next
Tell
Friday.
me, Sam. Why not, Sam? Just tell me. Why can't you say it? I just want you to say it. Oh.
Oh, got you.
Sorry.
Bye.
All right, have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next Monday. Bye bye.
Give thanks. Bye bye.
Oh,
Bye.
bye.